At Trex, we know there's a place for wood in your backyard. We recommend the fire pit. But when it comes down to choosing the right material for your next deck, look no further than the superior beauty and durability of the world's #1 premium decking brand. Trex delivers the look of wood without all of the work and the worry, and it's made from 95% recycled materials, which makes it the right choice for your backyard 100% of the time. To learn how to make Trex your next deck, visit Trex.com to order samples.
Great to have you with us on Golic and Wingo. I'm Adnan Virk in for Trey alongside Mike Golic and Mike Golic Jr. on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. As always, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our phone guests on the Shen Penzo Performance Line had a blast yesterday, and now we're back today with one new wrinkle, Mike.
One new wrinkle, yeah. You talk about game one of the NBA Finals tonight. I mean, seriously. It's a spelling bee tonight. It's a National Script spelling bee. That's what we're talking about. For those watching on ESPN2 and News right now, Mike and I are wearing our signs? Well, what do you call these? Our bibs? Or whatever you call
it? Bib.
What the kids are wearing.
I think it's a bib.
Yeah, a bib. It's what the kids are wearing for the spelling bee. Mine says Mike from Golic and Wingo, Willowick, Ohio, with the number 257. I have no idea why it's 257. I'm thinking they believe this was my draft spot.
Bam.
I was picked 255.
They would be wrong.
Obviously, they don't even know my own bio here at ESPN.
That's good. 2 decades later. A lot of hope and respect.
Is there a chance 255 is already taken? And in the pecking order, I'm sorry, Mike.
That 255 saying, give him 257. It's not like the money would have been any different, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
Maybe a side deal.
And you're 57.
57, yeah. They got my football number right there.
I get to play the role of Trey Wingo today. Number 92.
We have no idea why it's number 92, do we?
I mean, love Reggie White, maybe.
That could be it.
Maybe.
Greenwich, Connecticut. So
I was hoping they would have given you Chelios' number over there and called it a day.
But you and Jen Lotta are doing a little Twitter show tonight.
Yeah,
for the
so we'll actually be on ESPN Plus. You can check that out, the revamped app. You can also do the play along on ESPNU as well as on your phone, which is going to be awesome. They've got a fully functioning multiple choice app, so you can play right along against the kids going up on the spelling bee and show everyone how much smarter you are than a bunch of kids.
There you go, and then watch the NBA Finals Game 1 as well at the same time.
Just you have that on the TV. You put me and Jen right there on your phone. It's exactly what we're here for. The app, check it out. It's great stuff.
It's the
ESPN Plus.
picture-in-picture experience that we're looking for.
There
Listen,
it is.
in today's world, man, people always have short attention spans. You want to have at least one more thing going on.
What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do what's trending. The NBA Finals begin tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern on ABC and ESPN Radio. Golden State Warriors are huge favorites to win their third title in the last 4 years. Golden State, the second biggest NBA Finals favorite in the last 30 years, currently a 13-point favorite in Game 1.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. As for the King, 1,378 career games. That's regular season and playoffs, almost 1,400. He's never been an underdog of more than 12 points.
Yeah, but he has been an underdog in the finals. This is the 7th time in 9 finals appearances that he's entered the series as a betting underdog. He was favored 2011 against the Mavs. We know what happened there. And then 2013 against the Spurs. So we went 1-1 when he was favored, 2-4 when he was an underdog. In the never-ending comparisons to Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan was favored in all 6 of his trips to the finals and never faced a spread larger than 4.5 points in a finals game. The most, you said, second biggest favorite are the Warriors. The highest was the 2001 Lakers against the 76ers. They were minus 2,000 in that one. The Warriors are minus 1,100 against the Cavaliers. So high odds for the Cavaliers in this one.
Yeah, but do they factor in that Andre Iguodala's not playing tonight, guys?
Exactly.
Do they factor that in? Because now this is the opening that the Cavs need.
I heard you talking about that. I know he isn't one of their top players, but Mr. Junior.
Don't do it.
He is the one who has defensed LeBron the most when these two teams have played. He is the guy that they put on him. And now it'll be a mixture of Draymond Green and Klay Thompson as well.
Or Kevin Durant.
Iguodala has done a nice job against LeBron, and he's not going to be there at least for Game 1. And you hear him talk of wanting to be back soon. I don't know how soon he's going to be back, but while I get he's not one of the top players, his role is the major guy that defenses LeBron James, and they don't have that now.
And again, they have 3 other options that they can mix in and throw at LeBron James. Now, I'm not doing this. I'm not buying into it. I understand people want to attach a lot of hope to Andre Iguodala being out. I'm not falling for this right now.
To Mike Jr.'s point, they've got 4 of the top 20 players in the league, and none of those 4 are named Andre Iguodala.
No.
He's important, but he's not the guy.
I get that, but those are scorers, and they certainly play good defense, but Iguodala plays the best defense out of that team on LeBron. And now the guys who plays the best defense against LeBron on that team is not out there. So that has to be some. Listen,
it's a window.
I'm not going to say the Cavs are winning this game by any stretch. And by the way, LeBron game 1s of these series, he's not very good.
Nah.
That's a fair one.
Not very good to LeBron in LeBron standards, I should say.
Yes, we're all speaking LeBronese for that.
Exactly.
At that time, I thought it was actually the right time to bring the clock.
Really hate that.
I hate these mic stands.
Let's continue with some things that may have happened while you were sleeping. Brought to you by Tempur-Pedic. Now you can save up to $700 on select adjustable mattresses sets during our Memorial Day sale. Visit TempurPedic.com. Washington Capitals defeated the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 to win their first ever Stanley Cup final game. They were 0-5. They got swept back in 1998 and lost game 1. So they even the series at 1. Braden Holtby had 37 saves, his second most this postseason. 13th win this postseason, setting a Capital single-season record. The NHL department here was asked to give their predictions online. So me, Steve Levy, John Buchcross, Linda Cohn. I said Capitals in 6, Braden Holtby for the Conn Smythe. And last night's save is the save of the year. Incredible.
If you have not seen it, make sure you do see it. 3-2 game, 2 minutes to go in the game. The Golden Knights pulled Marc-Andre Fleury, their goalie. So a puck down the end, bouncing off the boards to Cody Eakin, right, who then Holtby is playing Eakin on one side. He passes over to Tuck. I mean, there is a wide open net for Tuck, who admits after the game he absolutely should have buried it. And I mean, he is point blank. Holtby gets his stick around at the last second. If that puck is lifted at all, it's going to be a goal. But I don't think Tuck thinks he even needs to lift it. Right. Just hit it in because it is wide open. Holtby somehow, some way gets his stick across and makes the save, to now which they're calling it the save. So we're looking for the 2-word thing again, the catch, the play, Sanford Cal, and the whatever in sports, as this is going to be the save.
Just the amount of strength that took, all of the extension, and to be able to hold up and just with that, just with the stick, deflect that was incredible, and it was what the Caps needed. We always say, the series doesn't start till a road team wins, but this one was chippy all the way through too, which was nice. Talk about that Tom Wilson suspension that never came. He was a target. Last night on the ice there, and you're going to see this slowly snowball now. We saw also, was it Yevgeny Kuznetsov leaves the game with an upper arm injury.
He's been leading the team in scoring.
He has.
Leading the NHL in scoring in the playoffs, so a huge blow to the series.
When you see a hockey player doubled over, you know they're actually in pain. And he was.
Upper body injury. We'll keep him out for we'll see how
long. Elbow, whatever it was there. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. So game 3, we'll see as the series will shift to D.C. What a wild scene that's going to be. Speaking of wild,
turn the clock off.
Wow, misfire.
Turn the clock off.
Yeah, and speaking of what should be entertaining scenes tonight, Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw is expected to return to the mound in Los Angeles, 7:35 Eastern, against Cliff's Philadelphia Phillies. Kershaw hasn't pitched since May 1st, spending time on the disabled list with left biceps tendonitis. Dodgers starters have actually kept pace since Kershaw went out. Since May 2nd, the rotation has a 2.99 ERA, which is 7th in baseball. When Kershaw got hurt, this is unfortunately a familiar refrain, guys. Every year now he gets hurt. He used to be the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
I think it's Max Scherzer. I think Corey Kluber's better now because he's not durable enough. But hopefully he comes back, pitches good. If not, you know what that means. Tommy John, done for the year.
I'm with you.
Right? They're hoping this is all it is.
And Max Scherzer, I'm with you on what he's doing so far with strikeouts. Got Washington the top of their division right now. But Kershaw, listen, he started out the season bad as well. 1-4.
A lot of walks.
Started the season. You're going back to 2012. All his starts through May, he's never had 4 losses. He had it early on in this season, and now with the injury, you're right. He's been an injury each year, something always nagging him. We talk about the great regular season he had, and then he'd have to get it done in the postseason. You keep waiting and waiting. But now an injury early certainly hurts.
Yeah, we talk about this across sports, but it's unfortunate because some of these things seem like freak occurrences, and with pitching, it's so pronounced because of the stress, especially for a guy that does what so few people do now, is expected to carry teams in that role as a true ace going out and trying to dominate a lot of a game. But it seems like at some point that it is part luck, but there's also a skill to being a guy that holds up and can be healthy for long stretches of time. That's why we laud guys like LeBron James who are able to do it in a different sport, right, but keep their body in one piece for so long while surviving a lot of the rigors that go up here. So you hope, I'm with you, Adnan, you hope he can come back and provide another layer to this season and recapture most of what we've seen.
Yeah, Dodgers were really struggling. The starters have pitched good. Now they're back in it. It's a really bad division.
Yeah, they're still, 3 under 500, but they're only 3.5 out. Colorado at the top there and Arizona second, only 3.5 out of the division, making their way back up.
They're very winnable right now for L.A. if Kershaw gets back to form. Speaking of getting back to form, Tiger Woods teeing off. The Jack Nicklaus hosted Memorial Tournament in Dublin, Ohio this morning, 8:26 a.m. Eastern, so a little over 2 hours away. Woods has won the tournament 5 times out of 15 attempts. The last time he played, though, 2015, he carded the worst professional round, 85 on a Saturday. He's paired with Justin Rose, who's number 3 in the world, and Jason Duffner, who is the reigning champion at the Memorial. Check out featured group coverage, by the way, this morning on ESPN+. It's the immortal question, Mike. What to expect from Tiger?
Yeah, I mean, again, even Tiger said he needs reps, he needs tournaments to play and get that consistency, because right now, while he's made the cut in the last 6 starts, he's burying himself. In the last 3, by Saturday, after 36 holes, he's 13 shots back in the Masters. Wells Fargo, he's 9 back. The Players, he's 14 back. So while he makes the cut, he's in such a horrible position because everybody, okay, now he's played a decent amount. Now everybody wants the win. Where's the win? Everybody said he's going to get the win. I'm sure he wants it as well, but it's a process. But as I said, in the last 3, he just puts himself in such a monster hole coming into the weekend.
Yeah, weekend Tiger constantly has to overcompensate for Thursday and Friday Tiger. And we went through the interesting point last time of, is this Tiger Woods finally showing a little bit of what you have always called red brain, that mental fatigue in the opening rounds when the pressure is on him to produce in a way that's not there once he's finally made the cut. So can he overcome that? Was interesting hearing Peyton Manning talking about sympathizing with having to come back and deal with injuries as an all-time great player trying to recapture that form. So the continued reclamation project of Tiger Woods.
And a little tennis for you. Serena Williams will face the 17 seed Ashley Barty in her second-round match at the French Open today. As of last night, she was an underdog to win the match, but she also has the 3rd best odds to win the tournament. Not sure what she's going to wear today, Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have that in the first line of what the fashion statement is going to be on this one. And I know there was a reason, and she explained it. I get it. It just seemed, again, odd, the all-black catsuit with the red waistband. We made sure we got that in the first sentence. It doesn't that seem like an odd sentence? She's an underdog to win the match as of Wednesday night, but has the 3rd best odds to win the tournament. It's really kind of odd. She started out slow in round 1, being down 0-3 in the first set, 0-2 in the second set, but winning in straight sets there. Now we'll see what she does against Barty again, she's a 17 seed, and that's just what you want in the second round as a 17 seed. You guys say, wait, I'm playing against who? As a 17 seed in the second round? I have Serena Williams? Thanks, gang.
Yeah, this is basically the tennis equivalent of sandbagging right now. Gotten herself to a nice place where she gets to sneak up on everyone, the vaunted underdog Serena Williams going into the French Open.
See how she does at Roland Garros. All right, that is what is trending. Golic and Wingo is presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guest list for today, Dr. Laurent Duvernay at 7:30, Stu Gatz at 8:05, Karan Butler at 8:30. All phone guests joining us in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. If you miss any of those guests, you can listen to all 4 hours on demand in the ESPN app. Adnan Virk in for Trey alongside Golic Jr., ESPN Radio, and ESPN News. All right, NBA Finals. Alas, we are here. Brett Parada chiming in, our researcher. For those who think this is going to be a wipeout, both Warriors-Cavs games this season were tied in the 4th quarter. The last 2 Cavs losses in the 2017 Finals, Game 3, the Cavs led by 6 with 2.5 to go, and Game 5, the Cavs were within 3 early in the 4th. I know it's a new year.
Right.
But do you at all feel like it's shifting a bit, Mike, from, hey, Warriors are the heavier favorites, we know that, but don't discount this Cavaliers team?
Well, I think maybe one of the only reasons you say that is because we've seen the Warriors almost get knocked out.
Right.
I mean, you saw Houston as a 3-2 lead. Everybody was waiting for that matchup. And once the Golden State won that first game in Houston, you thought, okay, all right, they're just going to lay the wood to them here. No, I think we were all saying maybe one win, possibly two for Houston, and all of a sudden there they are, 1 win away from advancing to the finals and definitely being the favorite. Any team coming out of the West was going to be the favorite. And then you have LeBron James doing LeBron James things. And one thing I am getting a little tired of is the constant, he's dragging a bunch of, people who can't play.
It's a carcass behind it.
I mean, here's the deal. They're professional athletes. They're professional basketball players. There's only a few hundred in the world, all right? Mm-hmm. And these guys are good enough to be on a team. So everybody has their fun ripping them. And I get it because at times they don't play well. But I'm getting a little tired of that one as far as, the rest of the team. But the thing that does stay with that is who's gonna be the guy? Who's gonna step up? We don't know if Kevin Love is playing. Mm-hmm. Who's gonna be the guy? Is Green, if he's in, is he gonna have another big game? Is it Korver who's gonna shoot? That's the one thing you're not sure about. So maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I am a little, but I am tired of that. I mean, listen. You're a professional athlete, right?
I mean, I get it, but we're comparing them to the other professional athletes, and compared to the other professional athletes, they're not very good.
I agree, but the whole, he's dragging corpses, these guys stink, these guys, aren't even NBA.
Instead of the Cavaliers, it's the cadavers.
I mean, I understand everybody's
that's a good one.
having their fun and a little bit of with the SNL spoof. I get it, but to me, it gets to be a little much. LeBron is doing most of this by himself, but not all by himself. So I get a little, I guess as a 10th rounder, as a guy who was a foot soldier, I get a little, you know what, you're out there, you made it, you're playing in the league, so let's not just cast you off as a nobody.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. This is just all the product of overexposure, right? We've been around these teams for so long and we're so used to them that we look at the situation and we have to go to something else, and we're realizing now that, all right, relative to what we've seen, relative to the LeBron James teams of the past, where he's at least usually had one other Hall of Famer on the squad with him, one other guy who's like a perennial all-star or superstar, and potentially without Kevin Love tonight, a guy who's not quite always played up to that billing and the level of expectations. And then you look around at the rest of that group and you go, well, yeah, they've been working out of the bargain bin for a while. They had to reshuffle the entire roster midseason for a reason because LeBron James was quite literally stuck on an island. Like, I understand the verbiage can be kind of offensive at times.
You're right in everything you say. It must be, I'm feeling that myself because I was one of those kind of, average everyday players, so
everybody plays a role to some extent.
I kind of get that. It just, so I guess it just got me a little bit as much as you hear, and if it gets me, what do you think it's doing to them?
Oh, and listen, I'm sure those guys are going to carry an extra chip on their shoulder going into this. It's just a matter of what that's worth when the guys you're going up against are all Hall of Famers.
Listen, it doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and with my head pick Cleveland to win this thing because I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be very difficult.
One thing that will help them, though, is no Andre Iguodala. Here's Steve Kerr on that.
Well, we miss him desperately. The Houston series showed that the last 3 games of that series, last 4 actually, without him. We missed his leadership, his organization, and his defense, and so we'll miss him quite a bit. Hopefully we can get him back in the middle of the series or maybe even in Game 2 if things went really well. We don't know yet. But when Andre comes back, we'll be that much better for it.
You heard the Iguodala talk. I heard him talk, and it was one of those where it didn't sound great. I'm looking to get back. It's feeling better again. He has a knee contusion,
bone
bruise, and inflammation around the nerve. A lot of pain to go with that. So he was using all those kind of catchphrases to, man, I really hope to be back soon, but I
don't
really
think he's
wonder.
back unless it's late. Like Game 6, Game 7, maybe. Originally, I thought, a game or 2, but now the way it's progressed, I'm with you. I don't think we see him until literally 6 or 7, if it goes that far.
And that's the one thing, I guess, I know I said this before and kind of mocked the idea that opened anything up. But if you're looking for any hope, maybe just the added attrition, because we heard these Warrior guys talk about being gassed in certain instances, having to try and steal minutes on the bench for certain guys when those rotations get mixed up because you're in the shape relative to what you're asked to do all year. And if that changes up for them this late in the game, then of course these guys could feel some physical fatigue, some effects of having to compensate now for that loss.
And also what really helped Cleveland would be Kevin Love.
He joined his teammates on the court at practice today, was able to get some shots up. I spoke to a Cavs spokesman, and he said that Kevin has been progressing through the concussion protocol over the last 4 days. It's positive progress. There's more steps they hope they can add to his plate today in order to get him fully cleared cleared for Game 1 of the finals. Ty Lue said that as long as he's cleared, he will be in the starting lineup.
Dave McMenamin, the Cavs reporter, also adding this.
And I know Kevin Love's been maligned for his play against the Warriors in the finals the last couple of years, but consider this. In the regular season this year in 2 matchups, he averaged 24 points and 12.5 rebounds against the Warriors. That's a major type of piece that the Cavs hope to have in their lineup to try to steal a Game 1 in Oakland.
Hope to have it. That's a need. I mean, if they're going to win this series, they're going to need that help for LeBron James. And that's the thing about the concussion protocol and just what you heard he said about Ty Lue. Once you're cleared, you're in. I mean, that's pretty much it. Rarely are people getting cleared from that and saying, I'm still going to take another game or 2 off. Once you're cleared, and that's all the coach can wait for, that's all the player can wait for. As we said, that's properly done. It's out of the player's hand. It's until they're cleared, until they pass their baseline test, and then they're right back in.
They're right back in, and you need that big game. You're going to need a big game from some ancillary Cav every night if the Cavs want to have a chance of winning. LeBron James is the known commodity right now. We understand what we're going to get from him. You need at least one guy going off for 20-plus every night from the ancillary Cavs.
And that's the problem, right? You go, all right, maybe J.R. Smith one night. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And Kyle Korver.
Maybe.
Again,
Jeff Green, maybe.
Maybe.
Tristan Thompson, he's not going to get you a ton of points, but he can get on the
maybe
offensive
a defensive
rebounds.
machine one night.
And the thing about Game 1s, all the other games in series, LeBron's averaging, about 36? In Game 1, he's averaging 21 points in Game 1. So you're really going to need somebody else, if he sticks to that average, to step up, or just basically throw that one in and say, okay, we're just going to be down 0-1.
Concede Game 1 and then just steal Game 2 on the road and go from there.
Exactly.
Yep, a concerted effort to rest in Game 1.
There you go.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Flip-flop Fridays is an interesting concept.
Well, I mean, today is Thong Thursday, so I have mine on. You?
We're not going to strip at any point here. Like strip poker.
Depends if it gets warm in here. I will. I'm always amazed at people and what they get out of what we say and talk about. So that first segment, we're breaking down, the game tonight. And Brett tweets in, great intro, guys. The entire city of Cleveland just changed stations. ESPN constantly dumping on my city. I mean, nobody's dumping on Cleveland, Brett. I'm from Cleveland. I love Cleveland, and I've always talked about how the actual city is getting better and better, rebuilding the flats, and 4th Street's fantastic, and what's going on there. And I tweeted back to him, I said, listen, I understand you all with your heart want to think your Cavaliers are going to win. I do as well, being from there. I said, but would you bet any amount of money on that right now? Any amount of money that would hurt you? Would you bet it on Cleveland to win that series? And I said, be honest. You wouldn't. I wouldn't. And I want them to win, but I don't think they can win. But it's just amazing what people hear and think, oh, there they are, trashing Cleveland again. There they go.
This is how the burner accounts start.
I know.
The key phrase that was, like you said, any amount of money that would hurt you. Because I'll put money down.
Yeah.
25 cents.
Yeah. Put a buck.
A gentleman's wager of $5.
Hey, Demarius Randall walked that brack pretty quick.
Yeah, he did. That's very true.
Just kidding around. All right, Adnan Virk in for Trey. It's Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. It's Mike Golic and Mike Golic Jr. It is time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. 4th straight finals between the Cavs and the Warriors. Kevin Durant of Golden State was asked about it.
Is it good for the NBA to have the same 2 teams in the finals every year?
Yeah, I think it's great. You want me to elaborate?
That would be great if you could.
But you just get a great set of players on the court. It may not be as suspenseful as a lot of people may want it to be, or as drama-filled, but that's what you got movies and music for. I think this is a great display of basketball on the court from both sides, and if you're a real lover of the game, you can enjoy how both teams play it, even though it may be different. It's still organic and true to the game and pure to the game. So if you enjoy basketball, I don't feel like you should have any complaints because it's a great set of players on both teams.
There is a great set of players on both teams. Well, certainly one all-time great on the Cavs, and then who is going to step up? We have seen, obviously, to get this far, they have had others step up enough to get them to the finals. But, this is a whole new bag of tricks here, again, with this Golden State team, who hasn't been as dominant as they have been in the past going into this finals, the 4 straight finals, because we saw it as being down 3-2 to Houston, and Houston had the most wins this year, but still the best team, even without Iguodala. He's going to miss some time. I understand they got the 4 stars out there. How much will it mess with minutes and rotation and all that? We'll see. But interesting, and you two, we all love movies. You guys break them down more than I do. Flacco tweets in, so both you guys can answer. If you could compare the Warriors-Cleveland match to a movie series, which would you compare it to? Now, we did other movies yesterday that have had at least 4 sequels to it because this is the 4th matchup. But these two teams and how they play, can you give a series that it might equal?
Sure, I can give you a couple. One, just in honor of Brett, I'll say for the Cavaliers, it's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And just because the pace of play of the Warriors, Fast and the Furious. You got at least 4 of those.
Wow, look at that.
High octane.
Pretty nice.
The Fast franchise. God, yeah, I mean, well, I know you guys mentioned it the other day, and it was near the top of the list, but the Rocky franchise, because you have plenty of instances where, despite valiant efforts, you still get the hero in this, and if you are the Cleveland fan base and the Cavaliers fans, LeBron James, your hero, despite valiant efforts, falling short and still teaching you a compelling lesson along the way.
And also, Devin chiming in, how about the James Bond franchise?
How many have there been of that, and how many different Bonds have there been?
I'm going to say off the top of my head, 5.
All right.
George Lazenby,
we
Sean
just
Connery,
mentioned
Daniel
the Bond
Craig,
series.
Roger Moore.
Go ahead.
Hang on. George Lazenby, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Daniel Craig.
Okay.
5.
How does it?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. How? But they gave reasons.
Huge Pierce Brosnan. Appalled that he was not early mentioned. The fact they got George Lazenby is pretty good. Go ahead.
They both gave. You two gave reasons of why it's like the matchup.
Right.
Why is the Bond series like the matchup? You can't just mention a series
because they've rotated LeBron supporting cast members like they've rotated.
Okay,
that's good. That's good thinking out of you. That's good thinking out of you.
That's
golden eye.
Good answer.
All right.
Survey says.
All right. Meantime, LeBron James was asked about a different kind of fatigue by our own Rachel Nichols.
I would say mentally,
she was asked mental fatigue or physical fatigue.
I would say mentally, and I thought of physical in there too.
Now, hang on a second. It's an either-or answer. Mental fatigue, physical fatigue.
I would say mentally, and I thought of physical in there too.
Okay, try it again.
I would say mentally, and I thought of physical in there too because it's just, it's taxing. I mean, listen, 82 games in the regular season. I mean, I'm almost at game 1, I'll be at 101. I'll be at 101 straight games. This season. And then you add on the minutes that I've had to endure throughout the regular season, throughout the playoffs, your body definitely takes a toll. And your mind takes a toll as well, especially when you're struggling during the season. You feel like, okay, if we could just get this guy back from injury or we can get those guys back from injury, we could be a better team. And then guys come back, guys go out with injuries, and it's like, and you're still in the uniform every day. And it's like, okay, when will the good things start to happen for our franchise? So mentally and physically took a toll, and I think mentally it was more than physical for sure.
All right, well, at least at the end, he said mental was, because he gave both answers. I tried this all the time in school, the multiple choice test. Right. I answered them all. Right. And somehow I didn't get credit for it.
I did the little true false trick where you make the T look like an F at the same time.
So the teacher wasn't really sure.
Kind of fudgy. Yeah.
He just came out with both, and then right at the end, he leaned a little more to the mental side of it. And listen, I mean, we've talked so much about LeBron this year, but you just can't do nothing but be impressed. And I know when Stephen A. came in yesterday and talked about, and I get it, we're talking about this particular playoff series, the teams he went through weren't any of the greatest of all time. I understand that. But still, 15 years in, at 33 years old, to play the most minutes this year, to play in all 82 games, and 5 times to play the entire game, including that Game 7 against Boston, you still, I mean, the impressiveness of what he has done this year, and now the greatest test of all, a mountain that people don't think he's going to be able to climb to try and beat a Golden State. But the year, however it ends, is going to be impressive for what he's done.
Yeah, that's factoring in. That was the biggest thing I took away was it was leaving out the age factor.
Yeah.
No one expected him. The Dan Le Batard show pulled out their parade of gas bags from the year that the Golden State Warriors blew the 3-1 lead.
Right.
When we had all talked about LeBron losing a step, didn't look like the same guy, was clearly on the back half of his career. Kevin Durant taking over for him, who we had just seen in the Western Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. All of these different things that 2 years later now couldn't look more wrong. We marveled all season at the way that this guy looked physically, so to not factor that into how we handicap this situation is misguided.
Hey guys, this is Mike Golic.
And this is Trey Wingo.
You ever wish you could wake up early in the morning and have donuts with your dad and us?
For Father's Day this year, you can. We're teaming up with Sport Clips Haircuts for a Dad's Day getaway. An all-expense-paid trip to ESPN, including a day spent with us on the show.
Plus, my son Junior, it is for Father's Day, isn't it?
Register for your chance to win online at sportclips.com/ESPN and make priceless memories.
No purchase necessary. See rules at sportclips.com/ESPN. U.S. only. Age 18 and up and 6/15/18.
So he said, what were we doing at 10 years old? Adam nailed it. ESPN Golic, what were you doing at 10 years old? Wild guess. Playing football? Check. Eating chocolate? Check. Looking at the lingerie section of the JCPenney catalog? Check. Nailed it. Absolutely.
Yeah. JCPenney got the goods. Golic and Wingo got the goods here. SportsCenter is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. If you shower, brush your teeth, or try to make your hair look presentable, damn it. Couldn't get through one without mentioning hair. We finally get to the one that's relevant to me, and they got to bring hair back into the equation. But if you're trying to make whatever hair you've got left look presentable, Dollar Shave Club has everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best covered, and they deliver it to you. Try the club today. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/Golic.
Adnan Virk in for Trey today. That's the voice of Mike Golic Jr. alongside Mike Golic. All of us today are Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We'll get back to more NBA Finals conversation in just a second. But a baseball story from last night, which I'm curious for both of you guys to weigh in on. Nathan Eovaldi is just the 12th pitcher in Major League history to start the majors after having two Tommy John surgeries. All right, only 12 guys have done this ever. And last night he was dealing. And then he got pulled. 6 innings of no-hit ball in his return to the majors, and Kevin Cash opted to take him out. And Eovaldi said afterwards, I didn't want to shake his hand. I haven't gone 7 innings in a really long time, so he played it safe and it was good. I would have liked to stay out there until I gave up a hit, but I understand the situation as well. So he's being rational about while being honest. The 28-year-old wanted to go longer. Mike, what would you have done? He's got a no-hitter going.
Well, as his manager said, after blaming, tongue-in-cheek, blaming the pitching coach, saying Kyle Snyder told me to pull him, so I pulled him. Basically, the manager, Cash, said he's not making it 9. He's not going 9, so if I let him go 7 or 8, he's still not going to go 9 to get the no-hitter. He's not going to throw that much. Understand the history of this guy. Eovaldi last pitch in the majors, August 10th, 2016 for the Yankees. 9 days later, he underwent a second elbow surgery. He also had Tommy John in 2007 when he was in junior high. He missed the first month of this season after undergoing surgery March 30th to remove loose bodies in his elbow. So the guy's had a lot of trouble, obviously, with his arm. I get it. I understand him being mad, but I think that his manager, Kevin Cash, said it best. He wasn't going 9 innings. He was not going to make it 9 innings. We weren't going to let him throw 9 innings, so he wasn't going to get the no-hitter anyway.
Wasn't going to make it with that kind of attitude. Well, and apparently the belief and support of his manager like that. And then, of course, you've got no shot of making it 9 innings.
Come on.
It's despicable. Have a little confidence in your guy. And you know what? In that moment, though, the unbelievable frustration that has to be there. Yeah. Because, again, it's not just that you've got a no-hit going, but it's you've got a no-hit after all this time. You feel great in a way that you haven't felt in so long. You don't want to stop that feeling because that's the intoxicant that you chase. Like, that's the one thing it's hard to find in other places outside of sports is that rush of dominance.
Right. No, you're right. You want to ride the wave at that point.
Oh, sure you do. As an athlete, you want to, but you have to understand, right, why they pulled him?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want him just throwing this one game. I mean, you want him, obviously.
Imagine he went 134 pitches, loses the no-hitter in the 9th, and then once again is hurt again. Like, obviously, you got to be smart.
Tough call. I mean, I think anybody on the mound would not want to come out, but boy, went as far as he didn't even want to shake his manager's hand.
Man, How much would a no-no be worth to you in that instance, too, though? You know, like, if you're coming back off that injury, how many games off after that is the prospect of saying, I came back and threw a no-hitter after all of this?
Again, as Kevin Cash said, he wanted to stay, but realistically, he's not getting to the ninth inning. I'll just blame Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach. I wanted to keep pitching him, but Kyle told me to pull him.
I like it. Blame the pitching coach.
Go.
Yeah, that's often what I do as a manager as well. And Little League stories,
we're going to get into that.
Little League stories are coming up 2 hours from now here on Golic and Wingo. Trust me, they're going to be savory. Speaking of the tease there from producer Dan Stanzik, a soundbite that really ties the room together.
Yeah,
I was hoping it would be a Big Lebowski soundbite. It is not, but it is still worthwhile because the National Spelling Bee. Make sure you catch our boy Golic Jr. and Jen Latta 8:30 p.m. tonight. In addition to the traditional coverage, Jen and Mike are hosting a live presentation at ESPN3. And Mike and Jen also playing along with a multiple-choice spelling bee experience.
Where are you doing this from?
Live from my couch at my house.
Yeah.
ESPN's catering this, so thank you guys.
All live streaming is available on the ESPN app. And last year, I mean, this was a shining moment, I think, for all concerned.
All right, here we go.
Cinephile.
What?
Shout out to Adnan Virk.
Of motion pictures.
I feel like if we get this wrong, we should be banished from ESPN, banished from the set. No pressure.
I definitely will be disavowed as a friend by Adnan Virk. Oh, this is B.
B. There we go. Yep. There you go. There we are. There we go.
By the way, check out the podcast of our own Adnan Virk.
True.
Cinephile. Cinephile.
Boom.
This is what
That's going to start the streak.
This is what we do.
All right, here we go. And, of course, we have to give credit to Adnan, because there's no way I know Cinephile if it's not for his podcast.
No prouder moment.
That's amazing. Your Cinephile made the spelling bee.
Isn't that incredible? It's gotten such currency. The people who run the tournament are going, we got to get Cinephile in there. Everyone's talking about this podcast. 12-year-old kids are hip to it. Let's go ahead and get this in here.
Corporate synergy, baby. It's what it's all about. And listen, if anyone has been around and heard me long enough, I am more than willing to shill out for the company and friends at the company. So, Adnan,
man.
Plenty of pub. We'll see if we can get them to reprise that this year.
I think the fun part of what you guys do is the play along, because everybody wants to try and spell it.
I can do that.
And I mostly get that. I know last year you guys did it in the cafeteria and you had people stop by. It was one, and to see who would get the most spelled right. I don't know who got the most in a row.
Yeah, there was a little bit of cheating involved. I think we allowed some people a little bit of leeway in that. So this system this year is much more cut and dry. You've got someone else. It's very Who Wants to Be a Millionaire-esque. You've got to lock your answer in. Once it's in there, it's gone. We can't help you out with that. So it's going to be fun. It's exciting. They've been looking and seeing them develop the technology for that app. It's going to be a good time. And again, you can show how much smarter you are than a bunch of little kids.
Something else we're going to have in common. Years ago, Green and I went to Washington. We were like on the side set of the spelling bee, and we had our own spelling bee on SportsCenter, and I beat him because they gave me the word Parsegian.
Nice, very good.
That helped out. But we got to talk to some of these kids, and they're amazing. I mean, you think about, obviously, the amount of time they study, but how smart they are, some of the other interests that they have, and what they want to do later in life. I mean, it made me feel basically worthless for what these kids are going to become, but the time they put in is it's ridiculous. And some of these words, I can't even pronounce them, let alone spell them.
Like, you guys know as athletes how hard the training process is. Imagine the training process to be a spelling bee champion. How many words? How many days? How many times? Like origins, roots, definitions. Painstaking. Speaking of, Mike, can you spell the word cinephile?
Sin, Cinepphile.
Yeah! Put him on the board. Put him on the board.
No, I know it's on Adnan's shirt. I saw him cover his shirt, Stan. It's like, I mean, seriously.
I still can't get over the fact. Impossibly.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the fact. So they sent you guys to the spelling bee, and they're making me do this at my house. Tell you what, you're about to get a lot of angry tweets from Daddy's Coattails 57 right now.
Let me tell you, though. Let me tell you, in all honesty, when Green and I were there, they came up to, they were hoping we wouldn't do our shtick, kind of have fun and goof around. They were really kind of nervous that we were going to kind of do that, that thing, and kind of have that morning show vibe to it. And they wanted it all serious, and we were like, oh man, okay, we're going to have to chill out here.
You guys are like wedding crashers.
By the way, we only went 1 year.
This is scripts.
Yeah. You guys are enjoying yourselves way too much.
There wasn't an encore on that one.
All right, coming up next, new developments and questions in the story that has set the NBA ablaze. Some are thinking it's terrible. I think it's awesome. Golic and Wingo next.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living. Because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. I'm Adnan Virk in for Trey. It's great to have you with us. Mike Golic Jr. is along for the ride as well. As always, we are presented by Progressive Insurance and all of our phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. You had a couple of tweets, Mike, you want to touch on?
I did. First and foremost, we're wearing our spelling bee bibs because the National Script Spelling Bee is tonight. Always love that. Mine says Mike from Golic and Wingo, Willowick, Ohio. The number is 257. I don't know what 257 means. I think they're trying to go for my draft spot. I was 255, not 257.
Maybe it was like a circus trick. They were trying to guess your weight.
Yeah, maybe. That's pretty good. That's way over, though, by about 20 pounds.
Yeah, no, congratulations.
Yours
on the
is number 57, which was your number at Notre Dame, and you're wearing Trey Wingo's bib, and it has number 92, and we have no idea why.
Loved Reggie White.
But there you go.
Pride of Greenwich, Connecticut.
But the spelling bee is tonight. I know you and Jen Latta are doing a live Twitter show, so that'll be fun.
Yes, exactly. So a little bit of a cross-promotion here.
There you go. And then I got a tweet, and this happens all the time. I love when people tweet in to talk about they're going through the birth of a child.
Wow.
Right? Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Derek tweets in, catching some Golic and Wingo while my beautiful wife goes through this child labor. That's from Derek. Derek, who's your wife? Give us a name. Give her some pub. It happens all the time. I mean, at least he does hashtag she's doing all the work outside of, his short stint in this whole thing. But I mean, give your wife's name. Something. Give her a little bit of love. The guys always forget to give the wife's name. It's just stunning to me. But hey, good luck anyway. Good luck to your wife, whose name we don't know, because Derek, you didn't want to tell us as she's doing all the work. Hope it all goes well.
Wonder how many Dereks and their unnamed wives are having kids right now across this great nation. Like, we have no idea how to specify now.
Well, we don't, but this one is obviously watching and listening, so he hears me speaking to him right now, so I'm hoping he'll tweet back and at least give her name out. Give her a little love.
Fix it, Derek.
Yeah. Do it.
Clean it up, okay?
Do it right.
What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
All right, here's what's trending. NBA Finals beginning tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern on ABC and ESPN Radio. At last, we get our fourth installment of this series. The Golden State Warriors, a huge favorite to win their third title in the last 4 years. Second biggest NBA Finals favorite in the last 30 years, and they're a 13-point favorite in Game 1. How about this? LeBron James has played in 1,378 career games. That's regular season and playoffs. He's never been an underdog of more than 12 points.
But he certainly has been an underdog in the finals. This is his ninth, as you mentioned. 7 times now he has been the underdog. 2 and 4 in the previous 6. 1 and 1 when he was a favorite. Favored twice, 2011 against the Mavericks. Obviously lost that one. 2013 against the Spurs. Won that one. Game 1 is always interesting for LeBron. LeBron doesn't do as well, averages 21 points, shooting just 38% from the field, where in the other games he's averaging 36 points. So he doesn't come out of the gate strong in the Game 1. So we'll see. We still don't know about Kevin Love in this from getting out of concussion protocol and being able to play. We know Andre Iguodala is not going to be playing in this one. I don't hold out a whole lot of hope for Cleveland in Game 1, and this is kind of a familiar territory for LeBron being underdogged in the series.
Yeah, and it's funny because usually with this much time in between to look at it and analyze this game, we talk ourselves into a little more hope for the Cavaliers, but this year the gap seems so wide at this point, and you're right, LeBron, the feel-out Game 1 for him with Andre Iguodala out. Now, how does that change what gets thrown at him from Golden State compared to what he's seen in past finals from them?
Also, hockey last night, the Washington Capitals defeating the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 to win their first ever Stanley Cup final game. They were 0-5 and even the series at 1-1. Braden Holtby had 37 saves, one of which was absolutely stupendous. It's one of the best saves I've ever seen. It's, in fact, the best save of this year for sure. By the way, 37 saves, second most this postseason. It's his 13th win this postseason, which sets a Capitals single-season record. And also, Alexander Ovechkin, one of the great goal scorers of his era, finally gets his first Stanley Cup final goal. Everything coming up rosy for Washington, which was a very tight game, Mike. And that save, it was with 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes to go. I mean, 3-2 game, and the puck goes off the backboards. I mean, it goes to Cody Eakin on one side of the goal, pretty close to the goal, and Holtby goes to block that side of it. Eakin makes a pass right across the front of the goal to Alex Tuch. And, I mean, Tuch has an open point-blank shot that he is just, as he said after, should have buried it. How Holtby got his stick back there to block it. If there was any lift on that puck at all, it would have been in. But I'm sure Tuck didn't think he needed any lift on that puck because it was wide open. Holtby gets that stick around, blocks it, and that's all she wrote. What a monster save that was.
We had a lot of fun at the goalie's expense after Game 1 where these teams combined for 10 goals in a series we thought would be defined by goaltending, and Holtby very clearly putting his stamp on this now as the Caps even it up 1-1, but losing Evgeny Kuznetsov last night to that upper body injury. It looked pretty isolated in the upper arm, which is about as specific as I'm sure we'll get, but the leading goal scorer through the playoffs so far in the NHL, going to be interesting to see how they rebound.
It is that one, and you see, as I said, when you see a hockey player double over, they're in some pain, and he kind of got backed into and immediately looked like he almost grabbed his hand, but we don't know what the upper body, the arm injury is going to be. They've dealt with some other injuries, obviously, in this playoffs and come through it okay, but this is an important piece of the puzzle right here, who is in a lot of pain.
And how about the spectacle pregame? Always entertaining. We had the Knights going again.
Love it. It was the same show. I thought it would be kind of a different show, though. It was kind of the same thing. It's Vegas. I was hoping they would have mixed it up a little bit, but I dig it.
You want a little dancing showgirls? Like
something.
Heavy Imagine Dragons theme last night.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Randy Couture in the house as well. I felt Cliff's clock coming. I just wanted to get Randy Couture in. All right, Tiger Woods tees off the Jack Nicklaus hosted Memorial Tournament in Dublin, Ohio this morning at 8:26 a.m. Eastern, so a little over an hour away. Woods has won the tournament 5 times in 15 attempts, but the last time he played was 2015. He carded his worst professional round at 85 on a Saturday. Woods is paired with Justin Rose, number 3 in the world, and Jason Duffner, who is the reigning champion at the Memorial. Check out feature group coverage this morning on ESPN+.
So we're to the point now with Tiger where he's made the last 6 cuts. There's more than a few people that think he's playing well enough that he's going to get a win or two, maybe another major. I hope he does. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it's going to happen, he's got to do better on Thursdays and Fridays. Right now, his Thursday score is at 71. He's ranked 103rd. A Friday score of 72 is ranked 178th. He's put himself in a monster hole in the last 3 tournaments, where he was Masters. He was 13 back going into Saturday, 9 back Wells Fargo, 14 back at the Players. So if we're now going to take that next step with Tiger, and that's on Sunday, be there and competing, and we know he's gotten close, and then he fell back, a little bit in some. If he's going to get there, he's got to do better. He can't be that far out going into the weekend and putting himself in that much of a hole.
Yeah, it was interesting. So Jack Nicklaus came out before this and said Tiger Woods needs to, right now, learn how to win again, learn how to get over that hump. And we always think of winning in sports, we backload it. We think of Tiger Woods on Sunday. We think of fourth quarter victories. But it really is that front end. It's Thursday and Friday where Tiger Woods has to learn how to put himself in a position to win again.
Yeah, and ultimately, Tiger Woods, listen, whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying nobody moves the meter like him.
Yeah,
right? There's very few guys in this world that are still so charismatic and still so beloved by so many. We'll see how he does today. Once again, check out feature group coverage this morning on ESPN+. Golic and Wingo is presented by Progressive's Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Coming up 7:45, book it. Cannot wait for that. We also have a doctor coming up here.
Yes, we do.
Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardiff. People that don't know this story, Mike, it's amazing. Kansas City Chiefs lineman.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, you say a doctor, and oh, by the way, his real job is a right guard on the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, so he's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Plus, we'll have more reaction here to this Brian Colangelo story, whether or not he used 5 burner accounts to send out tweets, not only defaming his own players, but also other people in the league. We'll get more sound, like I said, on that, including Adrian Wojnarowski weighing in there. But, of course, the moment of truth has arrived. Adnan Virk in for Trey today. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News, alongside Mike Golic Jr. as well. I don't know who the comeback player of the year is this year. I mean, it's only June almost. But I know who the comeback coach of the year.
And who would that be?
It's me. Last year, 1-8 as the Cleveland Indians bench coach. This season, Rob Hanawalt saw something in me. West Hartford Youth Baseball League. He said, you know what?
How old are these kids?
Grade 3, 4, and 5. So that's
grade 3, 4, and 5.
8, 9, and 10.
Is it kid pitch?
It is kid pitch.
Kid pitch. Okay, we're just at a kid pitch stage. Last year you were the bench coach.
1-8 for the Indians. And Hanawalt said, you know, I see something in this guy. All right, he's got drive, he's got determination. Let's make him a boss. Sylvan Learning Center. I'm now the manager.
So you went from bench coach, 1-8 team, to manager this year.
1-8, not 1-18, although it felt like 1-18.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's amazing what looking like Chris Chelios will get you in this world.
If you had played 9 more games, you would have been 1-18. Is that fair?
That's probably a fair point.
Okay.
However, this season things have changed. And we've just seen a renewed dedication to the game of baseball,
Yeah.
quite frankly, and a dedication to, quite frankly, winning.
Yeah.
The regular season concluded. Would someone like to guess what the record is of the Sylvan Learning Center team coached by Adnan Virk?
So you're now the manager. You
That's
are
correct.
the head honcho. Well, I'm going to say it's better. So you won 3 games.
I think we did a little better than that, Mike. I just told you we had a renewed commitment to winning. That's not going from 1 to 3.
2 more wins. I mean, it's more winning.
It's a lot more vigorous than you think. There's 9 teams in the league.
Give me 8-0, 9-0 in this.
We started out 2-2.
Okay.
And then I rallied the troops. You know what? Listen, I don't know what you guys think is acceptable. I mean, I got 8-year-old kids crying. I'm like, listen, stop crying.
Yeah, there's no crying in baseball.
There's no big league chew either, for that matter. I banned that. All right, let you guys start winning.
Wow,
No more
did you
seeds.
really?
Coach, you got any seeds? No more seeds. You win first, and you get seeds after. I'll buy the Gatorade. I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
Wow.
Let's win first.
Wow.
Then
Sprinkles
we
are for
ripped off a 7-game winning streak.
No, you did
That is
not.
what I'm talking about. We then lost a couple of games.
Oh, okay.
One of
You got
which-
full of yourself, huh?
Well, yeah. There's no question we were reading our own headlines.
Yeah, okay.
12-11 of disputed late
You gave them the
calls.
seeds, didn't you? And all of a sudden you started losing.
However,
Yeah.
we finished the season on a winning note. And ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into the playoffs, quarterfinals of this Sunday.
Yeah.
Sylvan Learning Center is the number 1 seed
Wow.
at 8-4.
Wow.
That
I want
is-
winners.
Yeah,
I
that's
want
exactly
people that
what-
want to win.
That's exactly what I'm looking for here.
So first and foremost, let's be honest. Did you oust the manager? Was there a coup?
Was this a coup? Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Listen,
Let's be honest here.
Pat Cooney did a sensational job, but he went in a different direction. I went in a different direction. It was amicable. We parted with it.
After a select group of photographs were leaked about him, and
Burner account tweets were released.
And the key here is, honestly, is this: strength in numbers, right? Surround yourself with people smarter than you. So I've got Mark Daigle, who's my bench coach. He also throws BP. I've got Dan Goldfarb, who tracks the pitch count. He's also strength and conditioning. I've got Jim Pisano, who's a pitching coach. I've got Jason Lavoie, who's my bench coach, also defensive position.
How many coaches?
I've got David Peters, who's a first base coach.
8, 9, and 10-year-olds. How many people you have
Alex
associated?
Pantages is my hitting coach. They said to us, they go, well, you want to have 1 or 2 assistants. I'm like, I've got 6 assistants. Once again, we're looking to win here. Okay, you can't add players, you can add coaches.
What are you doing?
It's volunteer based.
What are you doing for strength and conditioning for 8, 9, and 10-year-olds?
Do you want to know the ugly truth? We had some base running mishaps. Guys were running when the coaches told them not to run, and then guys were not running when the coaches told them to run. So I instituted a rule 3 games ago. Like, all right, guys, here we go. The next guy who doesn't run when the coach tells him to run is doing 20 push-ups at the end of the inning. Similarly speaking, if you run without permission of the coach, you think you can steal home, that's 20 push-ups. I've had 3 offenders so far. 2 of them struggled to do push-ups, but we somehow got through it. 20 may have been generous. I mean, they are 8 and 9.
So they're doing push-ups during the game.
That's good. I call them over and they go, oh my God. Like, one of the coaches knows Steve Ackles, who works here. He goes, hey, Adnan's coaching my Little League team. He goes, oh, how is he? He goes, oh, great guy. He goes, he's kind of a little more intense than I thought. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, oh, he's a good dude. He goes, but he makes them do push-ups like in between innings. He goes, that's it. Give me 20.
Bottom line is you're winning.
You are
no
the
more
Nick,
Mr. Nice Guy.
You are the Nick Saban of Little League Baseball. He's adding offensive analysts.
Holy smokes.
He's bringing over Boog Shambi and these guys and putting them in.
I'm glad you mentioned star power, because here's what I need your help with.
Oh, boy.
Quarterfinals are this Sunday.
Okay.
Semifinals, if we make it, are next Saturday.
Quit looking ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I had some guys going, all right, when's the final, Coach? No, hang on a second. One game at a time.
Okay.
All right. Quarterfinals are going to be on Sunday. Semifinals, Saturday, June 9th. The championship, if we make it, Sunday, June 10th. And I've got to now, at this point, rely on my stars and the star power that I know.
Right.
Christine Lacey is coming to the game on Sunday. She's going to offer support and star power.
And baked goods.
And baked goods if they win.
Please, God.
I've got some friends in the business. Aaron Boone's the manager of the New York Yankees. Alex Cora's the manager of the Red Sox. We make it to the semifinals. Maybe we'll do a live FaceTime with the manager of the Listeners.
Right.
Maybe a taped message from Aaron Boone and Cora. Now for the championship game. Here's where I need to lean on you two guys.
Okay.
You live in Avon. You guys are relatively close by.
Yeah.
What do you think you can offer for the championship game? Maybe throw in a ceremonial first pitch?
Oh, I'm not going.
No. You have to go. If we make it, no.
I'm not going.
No, live remote. This is in the contract.
We're going to stream it on ESPN Plus. I'm going to listen. I got plenty of people that we can talk to here in the building. You know what will
inspire kids, Mike? They go, oh my God, it's Mike Golic and Mike Golic Jr. They're going to play their hearts up for you guys.
Now, wait a minute. You're going to expect us to show up and root for you. What about the other team who maybe listen to the show and are saying, wait a minute, the Golics are rooting against us. Now I got 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids crying. What is that all about?
We don't really care about those guys.
Yeah, we don't have time, Dad. You know what? They're going to be the losers in this situation anyway. We're about winners on this show. I just sent a text message to Jimmy Pitaro. We're going to get this thing on ESPN Plus.
That is what I'm talking talking about?
You may have heard of him. He's the president of this fine company. He's doing some great things around here. We're going to get this on ESPN Plus. Get the set out there.
West Hartford Youth Baseball League Championship match coming your way, ESPN
You
Plus.
are setting yourself up for a loss in the quarters, talking about the finals.
It would be like Miracle on Ice type upset. Like if we lose that game in the quarters, I'm telling you, I won't be able to come to work. Shameful.
Man, are you just damning yourself
How about
right here.
you show up as the umpire? Like it's an Enrico Palazzo thing, a naked gun.
The big reveal.
Can I sing the national anthem?
I think it would be amazing.
That's amazing. Well, congrats to you,
Thanks a lot,
even though
man.
you sound like you're running a kind of a tough ship there.
Well, listen.
Holy smokes.
You learn, okay? You go through trials and tribulations.
Can I
and
ask
learn.
you a question?
And you know what's fun? Winning's fun, guys.
Can I ask you a question?
Forget the orange slices. Let's win.
Can I
This is the Patriot way of Little League Baseball.
Any kind of question. Are these kids actually having fun?
Well, let me say this.
Yeah.
On average, I'd say I have about 2 or 3 kids crying every game. Now, it's not through my demeaning, vociferous ways, but they just put pressure on themselves. They strike out and they start crying. So then I can be a big softy, arm around them. It's okay, guys. But deep inside, I'm fuming. So I just say, it's all right, guys. Hang in. It's okay. It's baseball. It's all right. It's a game of failure. Hang in there. What are you doing? I got to move this kid down next time. Jeez, well, struck out again.
Wow.
You're hitting ninth.
Healthy scratch for the next
Holy
game right here.
smokes, DNP, huh? Coach's decision. Wow.
I
Well,
think.
congrats on the better record. I'm a little.
How about this, though?
Yeah.
Friday is the All-Star game. I'm managing the All-Star game.
Wow.
So I've got I got 4 All-Stars, of course, we're the number 1 team. And then I've got 3 All-Stars from 3 other teams, and the other team's got 5, et cetera. Point is this. It's the All-Star game. My guys all want to pitch, and I go, dude, it's the All-Star game. Like, take it easy. It's Friday night, relax, Wolcott Park. Sunday's the playoffs. But they're thinking as kids, the All-Star game. No, I want to pitch, I want to play.
Sure.
How do you tell kids to go, hey, just go at half speed in the All-Star game? This is inconsequential. It's an exhibition game.
I remember way back when I was going to coach you guys, you and Jake and Sydney and all your Little League stuff. And my father, God rest his soul, said to me, it's going to be the most fun you ever have in your life. Because your son's on the team, correct?
Yeah, Yusuf is excellent speed.
Of course, he said it's going to be the most fun you ever have in your life. He said, but it's going to be the other coaches, managers, and parents that will ruin the experience. Now I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh, my God. Dude, relax.
Listen,
Holy smokes.
I reward them when the incentives are there, okay? I brought M&Ms and we won. We beat the first place team like M&Ms on me. And honestly, if we win, whatever they want, I will give it to them.
There we go. Pay the players.
Wow.
Yeah. Pay the
is.
players.
Yeah. We'll get them on Golic and Wingo.
I don't know what to think right now.
Last thought here from Brett Parada before we move on.
If you have your guys in the All-Star game pitching, pitch counts aside, you're going to ruin their confidence if they get beat up by the best players in the league on the other team.
Sure, you don't want to get them shelled before the playoff.
My ace is like a young Mike Messina. He's like, I want to pitch, and I go, no. I go, it's 1 inning pitch. Like you get 20 pitch. To Brett's point, it's 20 pitches per guy. So I might be like, hey, 10, you're out. See ya. Confidence. It's a very mentally fragile team. Adnan Virk in for Trey today. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Let's sound off on this Brian Colangelo story. It's brought to you by ADT. Considering home security, consider this. For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. Visit ADT.com to learn more. All right, Brian Colangelo.
Yeah.
So the latest when it comes to Brian Colangelo, of course, the league is investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Adrian Wojnarowski chiming in, ESPN NBA insider.
This has to move quickly for them. This is the credibility of their organization. This is an organization that on the court has been on the rise. They have a lot of options to help their team this summer. They can go out and get a max free agent. They have a slot there. They have a lottery pick in this draft. And so they need to know what their leadership's going to be. Is it going to be Brian Colangelo, or is there going to be another change in leadership?
So this is where it gets interesting. And yesterday we sort of threw it out there. Would it matter if we found out that it was someone else? You heard some super conspiracy theorist saying maybe Sam Hinkie's at the bottom of this. But you mentioned this. We had seen Roger Goodell's wife came out and admitted that she had used fake accounts to go and defend her husband to the masses. Now we've got, with everything else in this, circumstantial internet-based evidence that leads us to believe that maybe Brian Colangelo's wife is involved. So the account at Did 76ers Win, a great source in all of this, but tweeted some screen grabs that indicate Barbara Bettini, who is Brian Colangelo's wife, in an email. It has the rest of her cell phone number blocked out, but you can see the last 4 digits and the last 2, which are 9 and 1. On Twitter, the way it works is if you want to go in and change your password, it has that verification system with your cell phone attached. So if I wanted, I could go and try and change the password to any Twitter account that I had the handle of right now, and it would say, we're going to send the authentication code to this cell phone number, and it blocks out all the numbers and it gives the last 2 digits. The last 2 digits linked to 3 of the burner Twitter accounts are 91, the same digits that account for Barbara Bettini's last 2 digits on her cell phone number that supposedly surfaced in an email. And what adds to this further is Rich Hoffman, who writes for The Athletic's Philadelphia branch, tweeted out yesterday some screen grabs of tweets from Eric Jr., one of the prominent fake Twitter accounts mentioned in this whole report done by The Ringer, was tweeting about the same issues being discussed in a press conference. February 11th, 2017, Brian Colangelo was part of a presser before a game talking about Joel Embiid's previously undisclosed torn meniscus, while at the same time, Eric Jr. is out with the timestamps to match up and prove it, tweeting simultaneously about this going on, in theory stating that Brian Colangelo wouldn't be able to both be at that press conference and tweeting from the burner account at the same time. So it's opened up to the idea now, people wondering, did his wife create these accounts? Is she behind it? Did he maybe use her cell phone number to make these accounts? Because the information is still very sensitive. The issues and the ramifications are still there. But now we've introduced another player into the scenario.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, because that was the biggest question. They go, well, how could they really link these up? Like, is it circumstantial? But we all know, the three of us, if there's evidence, he's going to get caught. You can link these things. You can find out this stuff.
Right. And also, if his wife is involved in this, is it still you're defending your husband like Roger Goodell's wife was? But in this case, there is information about trades. We can get into the legal side of this, about trades, about injuries that take it further than just defending your husband.
If it was just the wife, Mike, let's suppose you're Sixers manager.
Right.
If it was just the wife and it's, bedtime conversations, he's just telling stuff to his wife, she tweeted it out there, would you still remove Brian Colangelo?
Well, I mean, they say what you're responsible for, your family members tweeting, Jake. I mean, it's kind of, supposedly.
That'd be bad news for me, I'll tell you, because they're not going to hold you accountable for that.
That's a tough go. Again, because there's one thing to defending a person. There's another thing to putting out information that shouldn't be put out about trades and or injuries that then cross the line.
You've compromised the team.
Right.
You've violated what we'll get into, a number of laws that could certainly come into play. And most importantly for the organization, the trust between the players, the rest of this front office, and your maybe former president.
Plenty more on this game, brother. Coming up, for the first time in years, a medical story in the NFL that has nothing to do with concussions.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's TREX.com.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Adnan Virk in for Trey. We're Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News with Mike Golic Jr. as well. As always, we're presented by Progressive Insurance, and all of our phone guests are on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We'll get back to our NBA Finals conversation in just a second, but honestly, if you're a sports fan, you love human interest stories, and you love stories of perseverance and resilience, but there's never been a story quite like this. Kansas City Chiefs offensive guard, Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardiff. That's right. I just said Chiefs offensive guard and doctor. He joins us in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Can I call you Laurent or can I call you Doctor? What's more appropriate here?
Honestly, however you want. Honestly, Doctor, kind of feel good right now.
All right, Doctor, let's go with this here. For those who are unaware, Laurent, or Doctor, you're a terrific football player, as I mentioned, but you wanted to become a doctor, and now you graduated from medical school. How in the world did you pull this off?
You know, it's kind of something I promised myself back in 2014 when I got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. I told myself, you know what, I'm 2 years into medical school and I want to be able to complete it. So I had 2 years left back in the days, and over the past 4 years with the Chiefs, I've been like balancing both. As soon as the season's over in Kansas City, I'm flying back to Montreal, starting clinical rotation. You know, I've been doing psychiatry, OBGYN surgery throughout the past 4 off season in order to be able to graduate yesterday. So it's an awesome feeling.
So, Doctor, back in 2014, you mentioned you were a couple years into it, then you were drafted in the 6th round by the Chiefs. You were also drafted in the 3rd round of the CFL by the Calgary Stampeders. So we always talk about in football and the NFL, they want players that are focused on football. That's all they want them to do. When you talked to Andy Reid, when you talked to the Kansas City Chiefs about what you wanted to do, what did they say?
Well, Coach Reid was really awesome. I remember when I was doing my pre-draft visit back in 2014, I had a chance to talk to him about my project, and he was one of the only head coach who kind of really understood what I was trying to do and saw the whole medicine thing as a positive thing, you know. And since then, he's been like really, really flexible. His mother actually graduated from McGill in medicine as well, being one of the first women to ever graduate in medicine from McGill University. So I think there was kind of a connection, and I think Coach Reid just loves when players are trying to do also things outside of football, and he knew that medicine for me was a passion, so he tried to support me. So honestly, like, just the way he's been flexible with me and honestly trusting me that I was going to be able to train back home while studying was a big part in me being able to accomplish my goals.
So, Doctor, in that regard, because you said Andy Reid seemed like the exception, were you ever worried that this might be something that would be held against you in the pre-draft process, something that teams might look at as a distraction? Was there ever any concern on your part?
Yeah, I think of course, and I think it's legitimate in the sense that, you know, I'm a French Canadian. I played football back in Canada. I'm a medical student. Like, there were a lot of like question marks over my head back in the days. But at the same time, you know, I think if you show up to a pre-draft visit and you commit to the whole process by going to train in the States and everything and putting medicine on hold for a couple of months in order to do that, like, that shows that you really love football. So at the end of the day, that's what the coach are looking for.
As we tease the story, right now we're talking to Kansas City Chiefs offensive guard Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardiff, right now Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We said finally there's a story about football and doctors, which is a positive story. Now, as a doctor that plays football, what concerns do you have about head injuries?
I mean, the risks are out there, of course, but I think what's really reassuring is the whole process that the NFL went through over the last couple of years in order to try to make the sport safer. Like, we've seen different regulations put in place, different protocol in terms of head injury put in place, and I think as a player that reassured me. But what reassured me the most as a doctor is like the conversation. You know, people are talking about it, players are getting more and more educated about it, and now there's not as much of a stigma around a concussion, and it's like not a normal thing, but people are okay with talking about their symptom, and I think that's the biggest thing, because we all know that concussion now, for the most part, that's subjective, and it's based out of a symptom in order to make a diagnosis. What
type of doctor do you want to be when you can be a doctor, I guess, full time at some point?
Yeah, I really love emergency medicine. That's something I took a lot of fun in doing those clinical rotation. I did over 4 months of emergency medicine over the past 4 years, and it's really something I like, you know. And I think there's a lot of similarity between football and emergency medicine in the sense that, you know, there's a little bit of that adrenaline rush, and you never really know what's going to sit through the door. And you also need to be able to like eliminate distraction in order to make like a rational decision and kind of eliminate the stress out of the equation in order to stay calm and be logical. So I think there's a lot of similarity with that in playing offensive guard. You know, when it's like 3rd and 10 and you gotta convert in order to go score a touchdown, you gotta remain focused.
I'm also thinking of the physical side of this now. To be a doctor, you have to use your hands. You play a position in a sport where hands get made. I've seen a lot of linemen, both offensive, defensive, after they played with their fingers pointing in different directions. I mean, is there any concern at all about injuries to your hands to being a doctor?
Yeah, of course, but I think it's also like specialty specific. Like, of course, I don't think I'm going to be a neurosurgeon after I play football, but I think for emergency, like having big hands, sometimes it's also a big advantage, you know, when it comes to like manipulating patient, and doing different, procedures. So we'll see, honestly. Like, I want to play football and I love playing football. So I want to go 100%, in that, and we'll see after, depending on how I feel. But honestly, I think it won't be an issue.
Talking to Kansas City Chiefs guard and doctor Laurent Duvernay-Tardiff. Now, we have to ask the update everyone's looking for. Have you heard back from the NFL on the prospect of getting MD on the back of your jersey for the upcoming season?
No, I haven't heard anything, to be honest. I heard some rumor, and what I know for now is that the rules are the rules. So we'll see what's going to happen in the next couple weeks.
And just for everybody out there, I just want to hear the name of it. What was the most difficult class you took? What was it called?
Honestly, internal medicine was probably the toughest 2 months of my NFL career so far. You know, I remember it was after the 2016 season. I flew back to Montreal, and like literally 3-4 days after, I was starting internal medicine, which is basically like a sicker population of patients, and you're there like from 6:30 in the morning until 8, 9, 10 at night. So it was really a struggle combining that with training and everything. So that was for sure the toughest 2 months I had.
Doctor, as a proud Canadian, I'm so proud of what you're doing for all of us. And, by the way, Mike Golic's dad played in the CFL, Mike Jr.'s grandfather. So, listen, we can appreciate the fact that what kind of breed you have up there when it comes to football. And last one for us, what's better, Labatt's, Molson's, or poutine?
I'll go for poutine. You got to choose the right one, you know?
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Good man.
McGill's finest, Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Doc.
Congrats.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good one.
It is just a great story. Andy Reid's mom.
That's crazy.
Graduated med school. That's incredible.
Because that just brings that connection, right? The
yeah,
first time
it really
does.
does.
And he goes, "Oh, no problem. My mom was."
I just can't fathom the work involved in doing that. And again, to the point, you know it. You went through it. I went through it. I mean, they want focus. They want football focus. And this guy's in med school.
Well, of course, you couldn't imagine it. You were a D lineman.
Hey, guys, this is Mike Golic.
And this is Trey Wingo.
You ever wish you could wake up early in the morning and have donuts with your dad and us?
For Father's Day this year, you can. We're teaming up with Sport Clips Haircuts for a Dad's Day getaway. An all-expense-paid trip to ESPN, including a day spent with us on the show.
Plus, my son Junior, it is for Father's Day, isn't it?
Register for your chance to win online at sportclips.com/ESPN and make priceless memories.
No purchase necessary. See rules at sportclips.com/ESPN. U.S. only. Age 18 and up and 6/15/18.
This is an interesting phenomenon I stumbled upon that if you just add book it to the end of any phrase, the shorter the better, it makes it immediately a hot take.
Owen says, Jaguars win the Super Bowl, book it.
I like Tim's, poutine.
Book it. Man, that's a strong point from Tim.
That is. LeBron is Toronto's kryptonite.
No.
Book it.
I like Steve's better. Josh Allen will break a table before the season starts. # Bills Mafia. Book it. SportsCenter is brought to you by Discover Card. Become a new card member, and Discover Card will match all the cash back you've earned dollar for dollar at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Adnan Virk in for Trey. Today we are Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. That's the voice of Mike Golic Jr. You can always hear him on first and last weekdays, 4 to 6 a.m. Eastern. And one of the best segments that Mike does is something called Book It.
Book it.
For those who are unaware, Mike.
Turn your mic on. You are a professional.
It's my fault. Book it. Just basically, I agree with you. If you just say book it and say it with some conviction, then, it sounds believable.
And let me tell you what, it is sweeping this great nation. Yeah. The hot take multiplier, you just add it to any statement. I've heard Stephen A. use it. I've heard plenty of athletes use it. So we're getting there.
All right. So you're going to read these to us, and we're going to either book it or not book it.
Or not book it. Yeah. No, this is nothing like Love It or Shove It at all. So we got a music bed. We ready to go?
Not one bit.
All right, here we go. I'm going to read you guys the statement. You decide to book it or not.
Okay.
A fourth straight NBA Finals between the Cavs and Warriors is good for basketball. Book it?
Wow.
Book it. Because honestly, I don't want to see the Celtics without Kyrie. I don't want to see the Rockets without Chris Paul. So I'll take one of the best teams of my era.
You can book it.
Showtime basketball and LeBron James. What's better than that?
I'll book it as well because...
You can book it.
We're getting the best players in the game. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to see the best players play. LeBron James is the best player in the game. Kevin Durant's one of the best players in the game. Steph Curry, you can go on down the line for Golden State. So if you're giving me the best players in the game, that's what I want to watch.
And I think more importantly, I'd agree with you guys and book it, because this could be the last time we see this matchup. LeBron James, decisions to be made this offseason. The Warriors face some contract issues. Going to be interesting. All right. The news of the day. Brian Colangelo was not the one behind the burner accounts other than the one he admitted to.
Wow. I don't know where to go with that one.
Book it.
You're going to book it?
It is too absurd to think a 52-year-old two-time executive of the year is sitting there with 5 burner accounts. Maybe it's the wife, maybe it's something, a close friend, colleague. Book it. It was not him doing all 5.
But the bottom line, though, is if his wife was doing them as well, did he know about it?
He's not complicit.
To me, that brings it all in there, so I'm going to book it.
You can book it.
I'm going to book it and say he knows about and or is part of some of the others.
Yeah, but the question was not the one behind it. Book it. So you're not booking that.
I don't know. I'm confused now.
The construct of this one was loosely constructed at best. I am actually going to not book this one either.
Okay, so
I do think he was behind it, and I think we need to remember that rampant insecurity is common in sports, and it is not limited to just 20-somethings. Despite the success they've achieved, men in their 50s can exude this same behavior as well. All right. The Rockets will sign Chris Paul to a max contract in July. A lot of legs to this one. Book it.
He's 33, eligible to sign a 5-year, $205 million extension. His starting salary would be $35.3 million.
Absolutely book it, Mike. Where's he going to go? Yeah, you can book it. Yeah, it's Chris Paul. I know he's 33, but where's he going? They know the Rockets know he's one of the best point guards in the game. They're keeping him. Who are we going to replace him with? Book it.
This team was one game away from being in the finals.
Yes.
Now, what are they? With X amount of players, they have $76 million, I think, built up in cap money. With Capella, they have to possibly do an extension that could be $25 million a year. I'm going to book this as well.
You can book it.
You're one game away from the finals. I wouldn't mess with the chemistry you have on this team. Keep it together and try and beat the Warriors.
I'm going to book it with you. The bigger question would be, is LeBron James joining him in Houston after this Supermax deal? All right. Mm-hmm. Now let's get to the good stuff. Being mistaken for Chris Chelios was a top 5 moment in Adnan's life. Book it.
Well, listen, I've got 3 wonderful kids, wedding to my wonderful wife, Eamon. I met Robert De Niro. I've been to the Oscars twice. Forget all that. You can book it. Yes. Yeah. Listen, Chris Chelios is the Stanley Cup champion. He played 25 years in the NHL. I'm looking at an athlete. I'm Chelly.
For those that may not have heard the story, Adnan was in the airport with a Team Canada hat on, and 2 guys actually came up and took a picture of him, thought he was Chris Chelios, and Adnan played along, said he was. These guys sent pictures to their friends with Adnan thinking they were taking a picture with Chris Chelios. You absolutely can book this.
You can book it.
You can absolutely book this. I know you have a lovely wife and a lovely family that'll take up the first 4 of these, but this is definitely in the top 5.
There you go.
Chris Chelios has abs. Book that. That's all you really need to know about
You can book it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Law and Order. Okay. Sorry.
All right. And finally, in honor of the Scripps National Spelling Bee coming up tonight, you can check me and Jen Ladd out, ESPNU, ESPN Plus, ESPN3.
Yes.
You would win a spelling bee amongst this staff here at Golic and Wingo. Book it.
There's no way I would. I mean, I'm a horrible speller. There's no shot. Now, again, I look past this glass here and look at all the knuckleheads in here that I should be able to beat, but I don't think so. I
would do well, but I'm not going to book it. Stanzik and Parada, both excellent spellers. I think it's a 3-horse race. I'll throw myself as the bronze medal, but I think that those 2 are the favorites.
Yeah, I got a chance. Book it. I mean, Cliff probably spells J right with just a J, so not really
book it.
worried about that one.
Wow.
Shots were hired. You heard some takes and book it. Just wait until Stugotz joins us next. Thanks as always to Mike Golic Jr. Golic and